Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If I could please ask you to have a seat so we can begin our very special program today. And before we start, if you want to check your telephone and make sure that it's on the quiet mode, that will be great. So what a wonderful day. Sun is out, oranges everywhere, and we are here to celebrate a wonderful occasion with two terrific people. Very special day. Before we begin our program, there are a few individuals I would like to introduce, and I ask that you please hold your applause until they have all been recognized. We have with us several trustees today. The chairman of the board, A.R. Carnes. Please stand. Yes, A.R. Carnes, Dwayne Jebbett, Carl Heminger, Bill Rice. Bill's right over there. And am I missing anyone else? Sherry Garner-Brumbaugh. So thank you very much for coming. Our President Emeritus, Dr. DeBow Freed. The Superintendent of Finley Schools, Ed Kurt, with whom we have a very special partnership that is allowing all of this to take place today. So appreciate that very much. And we have the Superintendent of the Hancock Educational Service, Larry Busdecker, is here. Yes, thank you very much. Our Mayor of the City of Findlay and UF alumna, Mayor Christina Murin. Chair of the Maza Enthusiast Board, Maxine Mazza Highland. Son of the founding director, Jerry Mallett, we have Mike Mallett here. And we have with us one of our Board of Counselors. She serves on the same board that Joe Conda does. And so Karen Beard is here. So thank you. And of course, our President of University of Finley, who you will be hearing from shortly, Dr. Kathryn Fell. We are expecting, I don't think they've arrived yet, but we are expecting State Treasurer Robert Sprague and State Senator Rob McCulley, both of whom were very key and instrumental to this, and want to recognize them, and hopefully they'll be here in time for the reception. I'm sure their duties in Columbus are keeping them delayed, or perhaps the traffic. So at this time, I would like to recognize and bring to the podium our Director of Maza to tell you a little bit about this special project. And of course, you'll have an opportunity to hear more about that from him, from President Fell, as well as from the Condas. Ben Sapp became Director of Maza in 2007 and tells me that at the time he became Director, there were about 5 educational programs. Well, you know Ben and you know his team, creativity abounds. And today we have over 45 programs here at Maza. So please join me in welcoming Ben Sapp.
Thank you, Dr. Latta. I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Conda for their generosity, their imagination, and their hope for young people today and tomorrow. The Maza Museum and the University of Finley are excited to be partnering with the Findlay City Schools to create the Judith and Joseph Conda STEAM Education Center. Over the last year, I've had many people come and ask, what exactly is STEAM? Well, STEAM takes STEM, the science, the technology, the engineering, the math, the medicine, and even the music, to the next level by adding art. Just on Monday, I had a College of Pharmacy professor, Professor Tonillo, called me to say, I noticed there's a work of art over in Old Main that shares the story of the Aesop fables where a frog is displaying patent medicines. Is there any way I could get a copy of that to share with my students? That just happened this week. That is a true example of what this is about. It allows students to connect their learning in these critical areas together with the art elements, the design principles, and standards, providing them with an entire spectrum of disciplines at their disposal, thus creating truly a cross-curricular experience which engages the whole brain. STEAM also removes limitations and replaces them with wonder, with critiquing, with inquiry, and innovation. This center will provide an educational approach for students from preschool to college, using STEAM as the access points for guiding student inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. The end results are where you have students who have thoughtful risk, engage in experiential learning, persist in problem solving, embrace collaboration, and work through the creative process. These are the innovators, the educators, the leaders, and the learners of our 21st century. This center will also enhance the strengths of these students while providing opportunity for finding new interest in their work. The center will be placed on the southeast corner of the Virginia B. Gardner Fine Arts Pavilion, facing the interior part of the University of Finley campus, which is just steps from the Science and Performing Arts buildings, all of which can serve as resources in the innovative learning taking place in this new center. Along with having art on display in this new center, we will also include the visiting illustrators that will share their process of creation as well as the research they have used in bringing art to life. The center will also become and welcome students of all ages to campus for new things like robotic and engineering competitions. It will serve as a resource as well as a hub for teachers currently working in STEM schools, as well as professional development workshops for those teachers who want to learn more about the STEAM process and the concepts so that they can share this knowledge and application with their students. Mr. and Mrs. Conda, I thank you for making this STEAM Center a part of our campus, our community, and our state. It will serve as an ever-changing resource to all that visit our campus. As technologies change, so will the inner workings of this space to always be a step above and beyond what students currently have access. The Mazza Museum staff, the University of Finley faculty, teachers of our next generation look forward to making you proud of the lives enriched by your generosity. Today, together, we thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Kathryn Fell, the 17th president of the University of Finley. Dr. Fell has led this institution for the last 9 years. And please help me welcome President Fell.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome to this celebration. Someone might ask me what my favorite day of the week is. It's always a week when we're celebrating a generous gift from generous donors and a day when we can get Ben Sapp in the orangest of orange jackets. So let's have cake. So it is the generosity of donors through the years that have made the Mazza Museum possible and certainly have sustained it and provided for its future. People like Joe and Judith Conda. We began in 1982 with a gift of 4 pieces of art. The founding person responsible for caring for those 4 pieces of art and helping that collection grow was, of course, as Ben mentioned, Mr. Jerry Mallett. We honor him today. We believe he would be very pleased with this very event. So in behalf of Jerry and Jerry's family, I thank all of you for being here today to help us honor his legacy. We started with 4 pieces of art, as I said, in 1982, and now we have more than 13,000 pieces of art. So you will see different displays throughout the year and the years as you visit the Mazza, and I suspect you'll be coming back more often. We celebrate this exciting addition because it represents what is best about our community, about our region, about our university. It brings together many facets of education. The STEAM represents those 5 major facets of how the human mind works, how the world works, and how we introduce students to that world. The University of Finley provides the largest number of health profession programs in Northwest Ohio. And in fact, it's appropriate that we have a STEAM exhibit here beginning and workshop beginning for students at very young ages, because we want them all to come to school here eventually. Let me just be honest with you. And we think they should fall in love with us really early. In fact, we may have a tuition package for them at age 6. Because, why wouldn't you want to come to the University of Finley? Our animal science and pre-vet students get into vet school at 75%, and that is against a national average of 15%. So we do this really well, and we want your students to come here. The addition that we are celebrating today, as Ben said, stands appropriately in the middle of our campus, surrounded by art, science, performing arts, music, you name it. It's in the middle of it all, as it should be. And much of what goes into designing and producing children's literature and illustrations is representative of all aspects of STEAM. So our students won't be coming here just to read books about science, technology, etc. They will be participating in its very creation, using those aspects of our world to create their own works of art, and certainly to watch the professionals create their own art. So we think this is going to be experiential learning at its best for students of all ages. And if you want to sneak in, though you're no longer in K through 12 or in college or even graduate school, and even if you're bringing your grandchildren, you can participate too. And we would welcome that. I think this project represents not only the connection among aspects of our world and the ways we learn as humans, but it also represents collaboration between the university and its community. We would not be here without you, and we hope that we give back to you value and meaning. That it's our responsibility to do so. Certainly our first responsibility is to provide for our community, local and at large, and indeed globally, students who are prepared with meaningful lives and prepared to take leadership roles in their professions and their communities. We're dedicated to that. We believe this edition will help us do that even better. So I don't know about you, but I think adding arts to STEM is really brilliant. In fact, I don't think I'm the only one, surely, in this room who, before you go in to see your dentist and allow him to do private things in your mouth, do you not ask him what the last book was that he read? Or whether he has a favorite poem? Or whether he loves art? Because if the answer is no for me, I keep looking. And so I'm assuming that you all understand the importance of art in the performance of the people in the sciences that we're sending out into the world. They are better people, they're happier people, they're smarter people, and they are good people. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Conda, for making this possible today. We are going to now introduce and bring to the lectern the chairman of our board, Mr. A.R. Carnes, and following as well as Sherry Garner-Brumbaugh, also a member of our Board of Trustees and the chair of the Advancement Committee on our board, and they will do an unveiling for you, and A.R. has promised to make some pithy remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. I was thinking there, I suppose it would be important to talk to your dentist, but I would hope that his last book wasn't something about Count Dracula or something like that, On behalf of the University Board of Trustees, I want to thank Joseph and Judith for the investing in the University of Findlay and the Mazza Museum. This edition is going to integrate many of the outstanding programs that the university has to offer. We are confident it will serve as a magnet attracting visitors to our campus and enhance the visibility and reputation of the arts, sciences, and education programs available at the university. As Ben says, we want the Mazza Museum to be the front porch of our fine liberal arts institution. We're excited that the learning that will take place will expand the curiosity of the students and help them understand both art and science as they pursue their educational goals. And as Kathy said, we hope that they all plan on being Oilers in the future too. As a private university, donor support makes projects such as this possible, and we appreciate all of you who assist the university and the Mazza Museum through your generosity. I know there are several new members or new people here with us today that maybe haven't had an opportunity to visit the university. And we've got it set up. If where's Dee Dee at? She's around, there she is. Anybody afterwards, if you'd like to take a little tour, she's got golf carts out there and be happy to take you on a tour of the university. We're very proud of this place, and we're proud of the Mazza part of it. We're proud of the University of Finley, and we invite each and every one of you to be involved and engaged in our university and come and visit us often. Now at this time, I'd like to invite Joe and Judith Conda up here to make a few remarks, and before I do, I was chatting with her beforehand, and they have been married now for 53 years. And I was telling her my wife and I have been married 55 years. And it was amazing as I was talking to Judith that we all seem to still like each other. And we all seem to still be able to enjoy our spouse's company. So I'm very proud and happy to invite the two of you to step up here. Do we want to do the unveiling now, or? Yeah, we'll do this first, right?
Let's do the unveiling.
Okay, and then you can have it, and you can talk until 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Are you ready?
Please be advised that my remarks are going to be pithier than Mr. Karn's.
I don't know what pithy means.
Dr. Fell, you can tell.
She's the English speaker.
Again, first of all, I'd like to say that the first time that I entered the Mazza, I tell people I had palpitations. Well, I've got palpitations plus right now, so please bear with me. To all our Toledo friends and the friends and friends-to-be here in Finley, Joe and I want to thank you for coming here today. This is a big day for us. The background is that 7 years ago, our daughter Susan arranged a trip for the ambassadors from the Toledo Museum of Art so that they might venture into this beautiful, beautiful facility. I went along, she invited me to tag along, and I got hooked immediately. Again, the palpitations occurred for sure that day. After seeing the facility and spending 2 hours with the docent of the day, you know, I knew this was something that we had to involve ourselves in. Please understand, I was a special educator and a consultant for 34 years, 14 of which were just down the road in Wood County. You know, again, during all that time being in Wood County, I really had no knowledge of or familiarity with this particular space. So it was quite a revelation when I finally got here. Yeah, yes, I did have a class in college in Introduction to Children's Literature. And yes, I used illustrated books when, you know, throughout curriculum during my years in the schools. However, I really didn't appreciate picture books in terms of the fact that they're really windows on the world. But then I became involved here, and it was magic. We as a family have tried to involve ourselves in innovative projects that are geared toward helping young people navigate their lives. So when we were presented with this opportunity to invest in this very unique partnership, we were enthralled and we were excited. In this STEAM Learning Center, each child who participates, as perhaps Ben said, will engage in activities that combine all the different elements of STEAM, that being, of course, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They'll be involved in guided inquiries, discovery of answers, application and creative problem solving, all of which will be coupled with the STEM subjects. Again, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Today's innovators, when you think of Google and those kinds of places, today's innovators work collaboratively in open spaces. They share ideas with other thinkers. They combine STEM skills with STEAM talents. They divide responsibilities. They compromise. They listen to and encourage each other. That is exactly what this state-of-the-art center is going to promote. And now Joe will have a few words to say. He might be pithier yet, I don't know.
Thank you, Judith. And now for those of you who know me very well, now some of you do anyhow, you see, well, they just had me tag along for like a walking ATM machine.
Is that pithy?
So, but this is spectacular, and the opportunity is just unbelievable. So I thought about what I might want to say, and there's not much that I could contribute following that little oration on education. But we're here really to celebrate the transformational happening in STEAM education at the University of Finley, Maza Museum. This is a huge transformation. We are celebrating, and I always loved history, we are celebrating and recognizing those individuals who have made the Maza Museum what it is today, and what it will become in the future with the addition of the STEAM Education Center. Because all of this is great, but execution is key. So as you've heard previously, but I'd like to repeat again, we know that this all began with the late Dr. Jerry Mallett, who proposed the idea of a museum dedicated to the art of picture books. He began with 4 pieces, you've heard, 4, of original picture book art, and a gift from the late Dr. August Mazza, and a thanks to he and Dr. Mazza's family. Little did he know that his legacy and passion towards promoting literacy would continue in perpetuity. Then came along a guy by the name of Ben Sapp. Okay, Ben, raise your hand. Ben, as you know, is the current director. He joined Dr. Mallett's team. He embraced the vision and the passion that Dr. Mallett had. And through Ben's leadership, as you've heard, I'll repeat it, we now have from 4, we have over 13,000 of original picture book art from more than 700, almost 800 artists. And all of it could be housed in 6 galleries. I think you only had 1 when this all began. But here's the most important thing for me, because I like to think big. Today, the museum is recognized as having the most prestigious and the largest collection of picture book art in the world. First statement, Ben? Thank you, Ben, and your team for a job well done. Where's your team? Great, thank you very much. And to Dr. Fell, special thanks to you and your encouragement and coaching with the Board of Trustees and your team for your vision, commitment, support, and confidence for this project. I think of this project as one that will reinvent Maza and create a leading-edge STEAM learning environment for current and future generations. That is big. So congratulations to you and your team. Now, and finally, the thanks go to a multitude of executives of some of the greatest institutions and organizations in Northwest Ohio who chose to take their time to come and see what this transformational project is all about. And my challenge to all of my friends out there in these nonprofit organizations and in the advancement organization, I hope you really take a look and seriously consider the unparalleled collaborative opportunities, they're unparalleled, that the STEAM Education Center can offer your institutions and the people you serve. We're happy to help you think through some of those. And finally, thanks to each and every one of you in this room, which is surprisingly crowded. Never thought it would happen that way. For every one of you for giving your time today to help celebrate those individuals. It's not about Judith and Susan and I, it's about all of you. And listening to the story of the STEAM Education Center at the University of Finley and Mazza Museum. It's unbelievable. Now, Ben, that's the end of my speech. I got one more sentence I want to say to you. Now we have work to do, Ben. As illustrated on that beautiful invitation you created. So let's bring in those backhoes, those cranes, and let's start digging right away.
Thank you so much, Joe and Judith, for your gift, for your comments, for your wisdom. As I had earlier referenced, Joe serves on the Board of Counselors. He also serves on the College of Pharmacy Advisory Board, and Judith has been very helpful in providing some wisdom and guidance here, and through the Tales for Tots program, which bears their name. And we appreciate that very much, and their daughter Susan, who is with them today, for all your wonderful involvement and wisdom, etc. As AR mentioned, those of you who have not been on the campus before and would like to take a golf cart tour with Speedy Dee Dee Sproul, she is happy to meet with you just outside of this room. We do have a reception occurring just outside in the late great hall, so fellowship, and we have several docents who are happy to share their knowledge of each of the galleries. And will there be, Ben, one docent per gallery? Okay, so just wander. The docent will find you. You can ask questions, etc. And likewise, during the reception, if you have questions, I did want to introduce the rest of the Maza team. You've met Ben. We also have Carrie Teeple, Dan Chudzinski, Molly Cooper, and Heather Sensel. Do you four all want to raise your hands? Okay. And per your comment, Joe, our hope is that with the generosity today and with other generosity of hopefully many of you in the room and many others, that our hope and intention is by late spring of 2020, we might see some shoveling going on. So thank you again so very, very much for coming. Condas, thank you.